Hey everyone! Let me give you a second to join me and make sure. Hi. Happy Wednesday! Welcome to Slay Your Cells. I'm so excited to be here. I am ready for summer. I'm an island girl who's ready for the summer. And this weather, I'm like, by spending time outside, let me show you. I'm thinking that maybe God will remember that we need the heat and it's gonna get warm. So hello, say hi if you're here. I'm just taking a second to wait for y'all to come on. We're gonna be starting right away, and then I'm also sharing this inside the group. Let me make sure. So say hi if you're here. Say hi if you're watching the replay. It is so freaking amazing to be focusing on helping you actually slay yourselves. While I'm waiting, I'm going to start talking just for a few minutes so that you can know where my heart is at whenever we're talking about cells and whenever we're talking about freaking slaying themselves. One of the big things I find, sorry about that. One of the big things, let me find the link. Okay, here you go. All right, so let me put you here so I can use my laptop to share inside the group. There you go. All right, so hi. Say hi if you're here. Hi if you're watching the replay. Let me make sure that I'm sharing this. So share inside the group. All right, let me mute that. So here's the thing. We are going to be talking about cells, but I think if some of you, so you may be in different places, you might have already made cells before, and this is about getting you back into the swing of things and actually getting you to focus for 10 days, most of your attention on actually bringing people in, on actually making the cells, on actually, like I love to say, focusing on other people. Selling is not so much about just stocking money. Hi, say hi if you're here. Selling is not just about talking money. Selling is not just about you hitting a goal. Selling is about you making room in your life to be able to help more people and change more lives. Like, there's no way around that, which is the reason why selling is such a big deal. I used to freak out around sales. I think that naturally all of us we have like a sales badass inside us, and the reason why I think that is because honestly, here, I'm sharing this in the group, guys, so that I can focus. We all have this badass person inside us who's ready to change lives, who's ready to do stuff and make things happen. A lot of the time what ends up happening though is that we fear, like we get caught up in the struggle, we get caught up in what's going on, we get caught up in the junk, we get caught up in so many things rather than fixing all of our attention and our focus on the people who actually need us. So we're about to dive into day number 1 of how to slay your cells. Here you go. So say hi. Where are you joining us from? I'm looking to the side because I have my laptop right here. Tell me, where are you joining us from? What kind of business do you have? And why are you freaking excited about sales? Tell me. So let me post this in my timeline. All right, so I have some notes here. I want to keep us, these chats every day for the next 10 days are going to be no more hi. Say hi if you're here. I see that some of you are coming on. So here's the thing. This is not going to be just the regular talking sales and talking about stuff. I want to help you actually get results. And part of the way we're going to do that is actually dropping the struggle, which is what we're focusing on today, by focusing on what really matters around your business, around your sales, around the things that are going to really get you the results that you want. So talking about today, I'm going to tell you really quick my story. Like I said, I think that there's a badass in all of us who wants to focus on sales, who wants to help people, who knows that that's what we're here to do, especially if you have a business. But from there to looking at the reason why we come into business, a lot of the time we feel selfish around focusing on sales. Like we feel, and to me it's beyond that. I don't want to feel salesy, I don't want to sound lazy, I don't want to sound blah blah blah. To me it's more that thing of, why would people pay me, right? Like that was something that I struggled with at the beginning. I have been doing a lot of this stuff for free for years, so why would people pay me now? That was a big one for me. But here's the other side of things, and I want to talk about this. So when I first started my business, hey Carlos, when I first started my business, I within 15 months I racked up about $30,000 in debt. I was taking courses, I was doing programs, I was doing a lot of stuff, and I know a lot of the technical sides of the sales by this point, but I couldn't get myself to fully focus on what really mattered, which was getting people or challenging people or calling people out, however you want to call it, to take action. I didn't know and I didn't understand that was the most transformational thing I could do for anyone that I wanted to touch. I didn't get that. And because I didn't get that, then what would happen every time was that I would get caught up in my own struggle. I would get caught up and focus on my own thing. I would think, I don't have a lot of time. Like these are some of the things that I hear from people and clients that I work with whenever we're first starting. I don't have a lot of time to run my business. I don't have a lot of time to do sales calls, which I didn't do at the time. Even last year, whenever I served about 100 people, 100 paying clients and that was like 4 timing my number from serving about 25 people the previous year. Here's what ended up happening. I began to realize that whenever I stopped focusing on myself, I was actually really good at sales. Whenever I focus on serving the people, on helping the people, on being super passionate and confident about what I was talking about and what I was wanting to help people do, people not only felt like that this was like a refreshing voice that I was bringing into the online world and into the client's life, but I would see people having breakthroughs through the conversation. So it quickly became more about, oh my gosh, how do I challenge people to take action today? How do I challenge people to grow their business? Like whatever it was that I was serving at the time, it was more around how do I help people to step into that rather than just focusing on whatever offer I had to put out and whatever thing I was trying to put out for them. Hey, Brian. So let's go through some of this. And I want you to think about really quick, what is the block, the fear, the struggle in the back of your mind all the time when it comes around sales? And sometimes, like I said, depending on where you're at, we're going to not only be getting clear on your goals for the next 10 days over the next 15 minutes, 10 minutes, but we're also going to get connected with your commitment to that goal. A lot of people set goals. They are like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm going to make 10K. I'm so excited. I'm going to da-da-da-da-da. I'm excited to put my program out. But there's no level of commitment coming from them. And so here's what happens. They hide. They play small. They freak out. Fear overtakes them. Like things begin to take place, but they are not able to really get behind the goal for one reason or another because the lack of commitment around the goal. So whenever you're setting your goal for the next 10 days, I want you to think about it from this other perspective. Rather than just seeing it about, I want to make this much money, I want to do da-da-da-da-da. I want you to think about it from a different way, which I think that's going to get you excited. Are you ready? So here it is. I want you to think about, oh my gosh, how many people, think about it this way, and you might want to write this question down. So if you have a pen or paper, write this question down, because this question is going to be like center stage for a lot of the things that we're going to be doing over the next 10 days. I want you to think about this. And I know that several of you are going to be watching the replay. So even if you're watching the replay, I want you to do the job. I want you to do the work. Let's get this thing going. So I want you to think about, oh my gosh, so with all the stuff that I have going on in my life right now, think about everything that you have going on. Is it your job? Is it kids? Is it family? Whatever it is. With all the stuff I have going on in my life, I want you to think about that. Then I want you to think about this question. how many people am I excited, or can I get to take action listen, while having fun over the next week? In this case, over the next 10 days. So I'm going to say it again. How many people can I challenge so that they can take action over the next 10 days? These changed, like blasted the blogs that I had around sales whenever I was at that 30K in debt, and the clients and the stuff were not coming in because I wasn't fully showing up, and because I was afraid, and because of all the junk, all the struggle that I had going on. So when I started looking at sales more from like showing up to sell every day is actually more about showing up to call people into action. It's more about challenging my people to stop with the BS, to stop hiding, to stop doing whatever, and to actually focus on what truly matter. Does that make sense? So the more clear I got, so these are some of the things that I said. I wrote them down because I wanted to share them with you. So I would literally tell myself, how many people can I challenge to take action today? How many people can I challenge to take action this week? And the taking action was around whatever I was excited to sell to them, and whatever I was excited to support them around. So after I started working on that, here's the other thing that I started looking at. If during that time that I'm going to show up for these people to challenge them, if it's not about me, if it's not about focusing on my stuff, but it's about challenging them to take action, about them changing their lives and doing what I love. I love to challenge people to like kick in butt to get into whatever it is that needs to happen. Like that part of me has always been real, and I know that it's real for you and whatever it is that you love selling or that you love doing. So I literally said, how could I challenge at least one person a day? So that became a big part of my focus. How do I challenge at least one person a day? And I'm going to challenge you right now. How can you focus on challenging at least one person a day to take action in whatever area of expertise or whatever thing it is that lights you up, whatever offer you have that you're like, this is the thing that I must put out into the world. This is the thing, this is the container through which I really want to help people. If that was the thing, like, how many people would you challenge every day? Hey, Elizabeth. So thinking about that, in looking at sales from that perspective of I'm making room here, I want you to visualize this. Think about I'm making room in my life to focus on changing other people's lives. I'm making, in the midst of everything that's going on in my life, in my business, at my job, everywhere, I make room. So I want you to see this next 10 days as that. We are making room emotionally, spiritually, and physically for you to actually serve people, for you to actually help them change their lives. And here's what I want you to think. This is going to change your life, but this is also going to change your client's life. This is going to change the freaking world, because as your clients are empowered with whatever it is that you do, they're going to empower other people, empower other people. There's no way around it. Filled up people, full people that are overflowing with excitement, with something to give, they naturally give. So that's part of what we're going to be looking at with you. So here's where then the homework for today starts. And again, I want you to think about it. Number one, I was at 30K in debt. Like I said, it was 2017, 30K in debt. On top of that, of the being in debt, I have done so many courses and I was in so much information overload that it wasn't a matter of just knowing what to do. It was a matter of focusing on implementation, which is what these 10 days are about. So when I started realizing I didn't need to look at another freebie, I didn't need to look at somebody else's website anymore. I didn't need to just start taking courses in a crazy way just to get information. What I needed was help implementing. I needed help with stop spinning my wheels. I needed help to stop flying by the seat of my pants. I needed help with how could I get out of my own way to actually focus on the people that I was feeling so cold and on fire and craving to serve. And if that is you, it doesn't matter what level of business you're in. It's like you are getting that itch. I was talking to several people that signed up for Slay, my 90-day program. They signed up last week. And one of the things that we were talking about, like there comes a point that you are craving, like you are literally craving to serve more people. You're like, I freaking need to get this thing in front of more people. I need to get this thing in front of more hands. I need to serve more people. Like whenever you start going into that fire, get ready. So I hope that this week is when you start going there. So as I started focusing less on just consuming new information, but I started focusing on implementing it, it's like literally all the thousands of stuff or hundreds of stuff or dozens of things that I was doing began to shrink. So I started doing less things, and I was like actually starting to get more results. And here's what I did. So I'm going to tell you my little secret at the time. And this is exactly how I started doing consistent 5 to 10K months and then grew it from there. So here's what I started doing. I started focusing 1 to 3 hours a day, just focus on the other people that I was here to serve. So instead of looking at changing the website, taking new pictures for a photo shoot, like, you know what I mean, like doing all the stuff that have nothing to do with the other people, but only to do with the structure of the business. Focusing on the structure of the business does not bring sales. Focusing on the structure of the business is just having a hobby. Like anyone can have a hobby, anyone can create a website, but whenever you're focusing on the other people, that's when goes down. That's when things actually happen. That's when results begin to come in, because now again, you're not just focused on you. You're not just focusing on your fears, on your doubts, on is it going to work? Are people going to buy? Like you're not just focusing on that. But whenever you take your attention and you turn it into Dustin, you turn your attention and you focus it on someone else, the world not only becomes a better place, but lives are changed. So for me, one of the things is that the way I see business, to me, business should feel like Zumba. I tell my clients this all the time. And I'm Latina, so you might see where I'm coming from, right? And I'm using like Zumba, but it could be merengue, it could be bachata, it could be whatever it is, like dancing. To me, business should feel like that, because it means that you are working out, like you're getting a good workout, you're sweating, you're like burning calories, but you're freaking having a blast. And that's how sales should feel. It should feel that you are literally so pumped up because you are seeing and making room so that someone else's life can be changed. When I started associating sales with transformation, sales with people actually daring to believe in what they wanted to do, think about yourself. In which area do you really have a desire and you want something, but you're just afraid that you can't have it? Like, think about it for a moment. Like, in what area of your life you are like, oh my gosh, I really want this. Like, I really want this, but I don't think I can have it. That is exactly how your ideal clients, how your people are feeling around whatever it is that you want to help them do. It doesn't matter if it's a product, it doesn't matter if it's a service, it doesn't matter if it's what I'm so passionate about, which is programs, because it allows you to serve more people in less time. And we'll be talking more about programs over the next 10 days. But I want you to think about how putting yourself in that person's shoes, how it has nothing to freaking do with you and your fear around asking for the sale. Because when you're asking for the sale, you're not just saying, hey, give me some free money so that I can pay my mortgage. That's a stupid way to even think about it. But it's more around, hey, let me help you take action. Hey, let me help you realize that you can actually do the thing that you have been afraid to do. Hey, let me help you transform this area of your life. Hey, let me help you go to your next level. Like, that's exactly what you're saying when you sell. So I have bought products. I remember Carol Ann, one of my friends and my client, that Carol Ann, I remember it was like last year. I really wanted to start doing videos. I wanted to start doing my videos, but I had like pimples coming on, and I was like, Carol Ann, I need something. I was so on fire about her product. It had nothing to do with Carol Ann. It had nothing to do with just the product. It had to do with what results I wanted to have, which at the time it was less pimple on my face so that I could actually show up and do more videos. Do you see what I'm saying? So if I could be so fired up about getting about paying $200 for Rodan and Fields, imagine how much more your people are excited to get the thing that you have to give to them, whatever that is. So seeing it from that perspective can help you transform the way that you're seeing it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, when you start looking at how can I help people take action today? How many people, so if it was Zumba, imagine that your business was a Zumba class. If you had a Zumba class going on, how many people could you invite into that Zumba class so that they can transform their lives? Do you see what I'm saying? How many people could you invite into your party so that they can transform their lives? Seeing it from that perspective literally opens you to the opportunities and to the realization that not showing up to sales is actually selfish. It's actually self-centered. It's actually like not cool. So, all right. So I hope, tell me in the comments if this is making sense. Give me some hearts. Even if you're watching the replay, give me some hearts. Does this make sense? Are you resonating with what I'm talking about? Are you resonating with the fact that it's time for you to focus less on yourself and more focus on the people that actually need you? The way to drop the struggle is to stop focusing on you and to focus on the people that you are on fire to help. So that being out of the way, now I want to help you do, and I'm going to walk you through what today's homework is going to be that I want you to have ready before we meet again tomorrow at the same time right here. So the homework for today is to think about, all right, how many people, this is the homework. Hey, Lindsay, how many people would you be so freaking excited to help over the next 10 days? Yes, we're talking sales. We're not just talking conversation. And this is so important. I know that a lot of you have set goals before, but I don't think that a lot of people, I think there's something different about the way I set goals that I think that might help you. So I don't want you right now thinking about all the money you are going to make or that kind of thing. I want you to think about how many people would you be so passionate and excited to help over the next 10 days. So if they are stuck and you were making room in your life to help them and you're passionate and excited to help them no matter what, how many people would you be excited to help over the next 10 days? Some of us are more conservative and we might say like 1 or 2 people. If you're anything like me, I'm going to be like 10 people. I need 10 people in my life. I'm like, you might be like super ambitious. So I don't want to set just a goal for you. I want you to think about that goal and write the number down, the first number that came up. Now, the second thing that I want you to do once you have set that number is let's assess the level of commitment that you have to that goal. Because like I said earlier, a lot of people set goals and they don't reach them because there's not commitment to a goal. It's just, oh, it would be awesome, right? Like if somebody went and did the work for me. But in reality, you do have to do the work because you have to challenge people to take action. So that's what we're saying. So I want you to think about, what is your level of commitment? What is the level of commitment you have to actually bring these people in and to actually support them? Whenever we're thinking about commitment, it's going to include both you showing up for them and getting out of your comfort zone to reach out and to connect and to do whatever it is that you're going to decide to do, which we're going to be working on over the next 10 days. Like, what's your system to bring in clients? But the other thing that I want you to think about, other than showing up, it's also how should I tell you this? How many people would you be willing, listen to this, how many people would you be willing to get out of your comfort zone for? Because it's going to vary. Like, so again, people that sell products, people that sell programs, people who have been in business for a long time, people who are new to business, it's going to look different for each one of us depending on our level of comfort. So what is the commitment you have to get out of your own comfort zone, whatever that is, to move into your next level? And that next level is going to be what you're going to be willing to do to be able to bring the clients in. One of my favorite Bible verses, I know that some of you might not like read the Bible or whatever, but I want to tell you from my experience. So one of my favorite Bible verses says, faith without the corresponding action is useless or dead. So we could have the faith that everything amazing is going to happen. We could have the faith that we're here to change lives. We could have the faith that we're here to touch people. But without the corresponding action, all of the work you do, all of the excitement you have is freaking useless. I want you to get that and write it down. So you can say, my faith without me taking the corresponding action is useless. So one more time, my faith without me taking the corresponding action is useless. So every time you set a goal and you are not willing or committed to take the corresponding action, which normally the corresponding action is closing a gap somewhere, is facing some obstacle that you are facing. It might be that you don't have a big audience. It might be that you don't have an engaged audience. It might be that people, like your audience is not used to you selling, so people are just watching you but not buying. Like there could be so many things that would be your gap. But the reason why they're your gap and the reason why they're there is because you haven't been willing to get out of your comfort zone in that area. And so are you willing, and what are you willing to do? The corresponding action. Do you see what I'm saying? So here's a little secret, and I hope that you just caught that. What happens a lot of the time with people who struggle around sales and who have blocks around sales is that they are not doing the corresponding action. They are working behind the scenes on making the program better. They're working behind the scenes on creating the website. They're working behind the scenes on their mindset. They're working behind the scenes on a bunch of stuff that has nothing to do with people saying yes to taking action. So I want you to get that. Unless you're focusing on people taking action, there's no sales. Unless you're focusing on people moving. Do you see how it's not about you? It's about you getting out of your comfort zone and getting out of your own way. But unless you're taking action on that, you are doing useless stuff. And I love you. I know that sounds intense, but it's the truth. So where is it that you're hiding? Where is it that leads to the number 3? Where is it that you're hiding? Where have you not been committed to get out of your comfort zone? Because that's exactly the block that we're talking about, and that's exactly the area where we're going to have to work together. Does that make sense? So where is it? Based on this goal that you have, 5K month, 10K month, 100K month, I don't care, like whatever it is that you want, based on that goal that you're excited about, which again, we're looking at it from the number of people you're serving. So we're looking at 5 clients, 10 clients, so because we're focusing on a specific people, not just on some random number. Based on that goal, what is your commitment to the goal? What are you committed to do to the goal? Which normally, again, is around closing the gap to the goal. And then what I want you to look at, number 3, is where have you not been committed, or where have you not been willing to get out of your comfort zone to close the gap? So for example, if you are struggling with not having a big enough audience, then the struggle has been that you haven't put yourself out there visibly so that people can see you as an expert or whatever it is around that area. If it's more around engagement and people taking you up on your free call, on whatever it is, then where is it that you haven't been willing to get out of your comfort zone in regards to that? In regards to sales, I'm just going to call it out. Where have you not been willing to focus enough on sales and other people that you are holding yourself back? So if you were to look at your last 7 days or your last 10 days and you haven't made any sales, or you have not made the amount of sales that you want, it would literally show you, I haven't been focusing on the right things. I have a business. I've been investing in my business, but I haven't been focusing on what really matters, which is the people, which is the stuff. Does that make sense? So those are the 3 questions that I want you to think about. And I'm going to close with this to give you, I think that this is going to excite you. So what I was saying earlier is, so about 2 years ago, I was 30K in debt, freaking out about sales. At the time, we have used, every time we got refund from our taxes, we would use it into the business. I had gotten debt, it was just all kinds of debt, credit card debt and all of this stuff. And I was so frustrated because I was like, why the heck is this not working? I already told you why it wasn't working, right? Because I wasn't willing to get out of my comfort zone to close the gap. That was the main thing. So one of the things that ended up happening was that I committed to focusing on engaging and selling. Those two things on top of attracting. I was already attracting people, but I was like, I'm going to commit to engage, meaning building relationships, and to sell, meaning calling people into action, even if it felt uncomfortable for me. So I closed the year 2017 with 25 clients. And this awakening or this thing happened around the summer while I was at a trip for work. So it was around May, June, or July. It was somewhere around there. I don't remember the exact time. Then this is what happened in 2018. Because when in 2017, I should tell you this, 2017, I was crying, sobbing, I should say, like begging God and like making this deal with God. I was like, God, if you help me to make money, if you help me to do this thing, I promise I'm going to help as many people as possible to do the same. And in my life, I had done that before. I had gone through really hard stuff, and I had asked God, if you help me, I'm going to help other people. And that's how I started helping girls and all of that stuff. So I did the same thing, like this bargain of, if you help me, I'm going to help other people. If you show me, I'm going to show other people. At the time, I really wanted to drop the business. But because I was 30K in debt, I didn't, like, there wasn't any other place that the money was going to come from. It had to come through the business, because if not, I didn't know how else. So we were living paycheck to paycheck. That was happening. And here's the truth. As I started focusing on other people, in the midst of being broke, in the midst of not having the money, in the midst of what was going on in my personal life, sales started to come in. So within those months, in less than 9 months, I brought in this 25 sales. Here's what happened. Last year, I went on to have 100 new clients. So 100 clients from 25 in 2017 to 100 clients. But here's what's even better. With my clients, we reach over 1,000 people last year alone. So even though I had served 100 on my own, as a group, we serve 1,000. So do you see how like the ripple effects take place? It was like that. Now it wasn't just me having a Zumba class online. My clients started having a Zumba class of their own. And I want to help you do the same thing. I want to help you see how fun and exciting and thrilling and incredible it can be as you are daring to change lives. And most of you are like me. You're really impact driven. So you have that side down. It's more beginning to see sales as part of your impact driven process. So I know it's freaking awesome. All right, so let's close with this. Again, number one, I want you to get clear on what's your goal. How many people do you want to serve over the next 10 days? Number two, I want you to look at your commitment. What is your commitment level, and what are you committed to get out of your comfort zone to do? And again, you look at it from, do you need to attract people? Do you need to engage people? Or do you actually just flat out need to sell? Because you have been attracting and engaging, you're just afraid, or you're not consistent enough with calling people into action. Side note, a lot of the time I see this with my clients, people who have an audience, they have a Facebook group and stuff, and they put out a lot of content, but they don't call people into action. What ends up happening is that nobody buys, they're frustrated, why are people not doing the thing? And it just means that you have trained your audience to watch you rather than to take action. So that's something that can be fixed by closing that gap. Last but not least, I want you to look at, where have you not been willing to commit to a goal? If you have not hit the goal, where is it that you haven't been willing to commit to the goal to close the gap to the goal? And so tomorrow we're going to be coming in talking more about how do you get into your ideal client's mind to know how to help them take action. This is one of my favorite parts. Last year, and by the way, this doesn't require a bunch of sales calls. Those 100 people that I served last year, I did less than 10 sales calls. Serving 100 people with just 2 programs, actually 3, because at the end I serve some of my people upgraded to my mastermind. Here, like, I did less than 10 sales calls. But it was because of this thing that we're going to be talking about tomorrow, which is getting into people's hearts and really like grabbing their heart, if you know what I mean. Not from a controlling or a manipulative place, but more from like helping them get a glimpse of their future self, helping them get a glimpse of what is next for them, helping them. I really believe that that's what happens in a sales conversation, is that you are making room for someone else to face the reality that's coming. It's like they face their next level, they face their goal, they face it, and it's like, holy freaking cow, it's true. And that begins to to change the conversation. That begins to change the things. And they literally say yes to that version of themselves. That's what happens in sales. So we're going to be talking more about that tomorrow. For today, I want you to do your homework, and I want you to come back and tell us in the comments below, what was it for you? So answer the questions in the comments below. I'm going to be answering any questions that you have, so post them down here. If there's any fear or any area that you're feeling like this is the thing that I wasn't willing to do, I wasn't willing to sell, I wasn't willing to show up as a leader, I wasn't willing to engage and get myself out of my own way to actually call my people to, whatever it is, I want you to post it below. But I want you to come back and ask any questions that you have, because I will be answering them for you. So this is your time. It's time to drop the struggle. It's time to drop the BS. It's time to stop focusing on you and holding yourself back. Because at the end of the day, what I want you to see is to see that next version of you. That version of you who has said yes. That version of you who's like, I will do whatever it takes to change these people's lives and change my own life. Because I know that focusing on sales is what's really gonna ignite and spark and start the transformation that my people need, me stepping into what I'm here to do in this next level way. So I love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow, 12 p.m. Eastern time. Bye.